Imagine if you could make your wildest dreams come true in just 3 minutes. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, what if I told you there's a powerful technique that claims to do just that? Today, we're diving into a method that's been changing lives for decades. It's called the imaginal scene technique, and it was created by Neville Goddard, a famous teacher of spirituality and manifestation. This isn't your typical think positive advice. Neville Goddard's technique is a specific, step-by-step process that anyone can use. And the best part? It only takes 3 minutes of your day. Whether you're looking for love, success, or just a better life, this method might be the key you've been searching for. Now you might be skeptical. I get it. In a world full of quick fixes and empty promises, it's hard to believe that something so simple could be so powerful. But stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a tool that could potentially change your life. Before we jump into the technique itself, let's talk about why it works. Neville Goddard's teachings are all about the power of your mind. He believed that our thoughts and imagination create our reality. It's not just about positive thinking, it's about actually feeling and experiencing your desires as if they've already happened. Think about it this way. Have you ever worried about something so much that it actually came true? That's because your mind was so focused on that negative outcome. It influenced your actions and perceptions. Well, this technique works the same way, but in reverse. Instead of focusing on what you don't want, you're putting all your mental energy into what you do want. This isn't some new age mumbo-jumbo. Modern science is starting to catch up with what spiritual teachers have been saying for years. Our brains are incredibly powerful, and they shape how we see and interact with the world. By using this technique, you're essentially reprogramming your brain to focus on and attract what you want. Now let's get into the meat of the matter. What exactly is this 3-minute technique and how does it work? At its core, Neville Goddard's method is about using your imagination to create a scene that represents your desire as already fulfilled. It's not just about visualizing, it's about fully immersing yourself in the experience of having what you want. Here's the basic idea. For just 3 minutes before you go to sleep at night, you create a vivid mental scene that represents your desire as already achieved. You don't just see it, you feel it, hear it, smell it, taste it. You make it as real as possible in your mind. For example, let's say you want a new job. Your scene might be shaking hands with your new boss, feeling the excitement and pride of your first day. Or maybe you're looking at your bank account, seeing the higher salary you're now earning. Whatever the scene, the key is to make it feel as real as possible. Now, 3 minutes might not seem like a long time, but when you're fully focused and immersed in your imaginal scene, it can feel like an eternity. And that's a good thing. The more real it feels to you, the more powerful the effect. But here's the crucial part. It's not just about doing this once and forgetting about it. The power of this technique comes from repetition. You do this every night, immersing yourself in the same scene, feeling the same feelings, until it becomes so familiar that it feels more real than your current reality. This might sound simple, and in many ways it is. But don't mistake simplicity for lack of power. This technique has been used by countless people to manifest everything from small desires to life-changing transformations. It's not about forcing the universe to give you what you want. It's about aligning your subconscious mind with your desires, which in turn affects your actions, perceptions, and the opportunities you notice and take advantage of. You might be wondering how simply imagining something can have such a powerful effect on your life. Well, it turns out there's some solid science behind this idea. When you vividly imagine something, your brain reacts in many of the same ways it would if you were actually experiencing it. This is why athletes use visualization techniques to improve their performance. When they imagine themselves performing perfectly, their brains are actually laying down neural pathways that make that perfect performance more likely in real life. The same principle applies to this technique. When you vividly imagine your desire as already fulfilled, you're creating neural pathways in your brain that support that reality. You're training your brain to look for opportunities that align with your desire, to notice things that can help you achieve it, and to feel more confident and capable of making it happen. But it goes even deeper than that. When you fully immerse yourself in your imaginal scene, you're also affecting your emotions. You're generating the feelings of joy, satisfaction, and accomplishment that you'd feel if your desire were already real. And here's the kicker. Your subconscious mind doesn't really know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. This means that by consistently engaging in this practice, you're actually training your subconscious mind to believe that you already have what you want. And when your subconscious believes something, it works tirelessly to make that belief a reality. Think about it this way. Have you ever bought a new car and suddenly you start seeing that same model everywhere? It's not that there are suddenly more of those cars on the road. It's that your brain is now primed to notice them. The same thing happens when you use this technique. You prime your brain to notice opportunities, people, and circumstances that can help bring your desire into reality. Now let's talk about one of the most crucial aspects of this technique: feeling. Neville Goddard emphasized that it's not enough to just visualize your desire. You have to feel it as if it's already real. This is where a lot of people go wrong with manifestation techniques. They think it's enough to just picture what they want or to repeat affirmations. But without the feeling, it's like trying to start a car without any fuel. The feeling is what gives power to your imaginal scene. When you're doing this technique, really focus on the emotions you'd feel if your desire were already fulfilled. Would you feel joy, relief, excitement, pride? Whatever those emotions are, let yourself fully experience them during your 3-minute session. This might feel awkward or fake at first, especially if your current reality is very different from what you're imagining. That's okay. Like any skill, this takes practice. The more you do it, the more natural and real it will feel. Remember, your subconscious mind responds to emotion much more strongly than to logic or willpower. You can tell yourself all day long that you're going to achieve something, but if you don't feel it, your subconscious won't buy it. But when you combine vivid imagery with genuine emotion, you're speaking your subconscious mind's language. This emotional component is also what makes this technique so powerful for personal transformation. By regularly experiencing the emotions associated with your fulfilled desire, you're actually changing your emotional set point. You're training yourself to feel more positive, more confident, more abundant, even before your external circumstances change. And here's the really exciting part. As you shift your emotional state, you actually start to attract experiences that match that new state. It's like tuning a radio to a different frequency. Suddenly, you start picking up on opportunities and possibilities that were always there, but that you couldn't perceive before because you weren't tuned into the right frequency. Now let's address something important. This technique is not a magic wand. You can't do it once and expect your life to transform overnight. Like any powerful tool, it requires consistent, persistent use to see results. Neville Goddard often emphasized the importance of persisting in your imaginal act until it becomes your reality. This means doing your 3-minute session every night, without fail, until your desire manifests. This can be challenging, especially if you don't see immediate results. It's human nature to want instant gratification. But remember, you're not just trying to change your external circumstances, you're rewiring your brain, shifting your emotional state, and aligning your subconscious mind with your desires. That takes time. Think of it like planting a seed. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't see any immediate results. For a while, it might seem like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, that seed is germinating, growing roots, and preparing to sprout. Your imaginal scenes are like that seed. Even when you can't see any outward changes, trust that beneath the surface, powerful transformations are taking place. This is where many people give up. They try the technique for a few days or weeks, don't see any changes, and decide it doesn't work. But those who persist often report amazing results. Sometimes the manifestation happens suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere. Other times, it's a gradual process, with small changes accumulating over time, until one day you realize your desire has become your reality. The key is to persist, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Keep doing your nightly sessions, keep feeling the reality of your desire, keep living from the state of wish fulfilled, as Neville would say. And here's a pro tip. Don't constantly check to see if your desire has manifested yet. This actually works against you because it reinforces the feeling of lack or absence of your desire. Instead, trust in the process. Know that your imaginal scenes are doing their work, even if you can't see the results yet. Let's be honest, when you first start using this technique, you're likely to encounter some internal resistance. Your logical mind might tell you this is all nonsense. You might feel silly imagining something that seems so far from your current reality. You might worry that you're wasting your time or setting yourself up for disappointment. These doubts and fears are normal. In fact, they're a sign that you're pushing beyond your comfort zone, which is exactly where growth happens. The key is to acknowledge these doubts without letting them derail you. Remember, your current beliefs about what's possible for you are just that, beliefs. They're not absolute truths. They're simply the result of your past experiences and conditioning. This technique is all about expanding your sense of what's possible. One way to overcome doubts is to start small. Don't try to manifest $1 million or your dream job right off the bat. Start with something that feels more believable to you. Maybe it's having a great conversation with a friend, or finding a parking spot easily, or having an unexpectedly good day at work. As you see results with these smaller manifestations, your confidence in the technique will grow, and you'll be ready to tackle bigger desires. Another helpful approach is to view this as an experiment. Don't put pressure on yourself to believe 100% that it will work. Instead, approach it with curiosity. I'm going to try this for 30 days and see what happens. This takes the pressure off and allows you to engage with the technique more freely. It's also important to address any feelings of unworthiness or guilt that might come up. Some people feel that it's selfish or wrong to focus on their desires. But remember, by improving your own life and becoming the best version of yourself, you're actually increasing your capacity to help others and make a positive impact in the world. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Like any new skill, this takes practice. You might not be able to hold your focus for the full 3 minutes at first. You might struggle to make your scene feel real. That's okay. The more you practice, the easier it will become. The important thing is to keep at it, even if it feels awkward or difficult at first. One of Neville Goddard's key teachings was the concept of living in the end. This means not just imagining your desire for 3 minutes a day, but actually living as if your desire has already been fulfilled. This doesn't mean quitting your job because you've imagined winning the lottery. It means adopting the mindset, the feelings, and where possible, the actions of someone who already has what you desire. For example, if your desire is to be in a loving relationship, you might start taking better care of yourself, making space in your life for a partner, and feeling the love and companionship you desire, even before a specific person shows up. If your desire is financial abundance, you might start feeling grateful for what you already have, making confident decisions about money, and allowing yourself to enjoy life more, all attitudes of someone who is financially secure. This living in the end amplifies the power of your nightly technique. It's like watering and tending to that seed you've planted, helping it grow faster and stronger. It's important to note that this doesn't mean denying your current reality. You're not pretending that things are different than they are. Instead, you're choosing to focus on and embody the feeling of your desire fulfilled, trusting that your outer world will catch up to your inner experience. This can feel challenging at first, especially if your current circumstances are very different from what you desire. But remember, every big change starts with small steps. Look for little ways each day to embody the person you want to be, to feel the feelings you want to feel. And here's a powerful secret. As you start living in the end, you'll often find that opportunities and circumstances naturally arise to support your desire. It's as if the universe conspires to make your imaginal scene a reality. But these opportunities might not always look the way you expect, so stay open and flexible. Now, you might be wondering, do I just imagine what I want and then sit back and wait for it to happen? Not quite. While the imaginal scene is powerful, it's not about replacing action with daydreaming. Instead, this technique is about inspired action. As you consistently engage with your imaginal scene and live from the end, you'll likely find yourself feeling inspired to take certain actions. You might suddenly have an idea for a new project, feel compelled to reach out to someone, or find the courage to take a step you've been hesitating on. These inspired actions are different from the frantic, anxious actions we often take when we're trying to force things to happen. They feel natural, exciting, and often effortless. They're the result of your shifted mindset and emotional state. The key is to stay open and attentive to these inspirations and to act on them when they arise. Don't worry if you can't see how a particular action connects to your desire. Trust that your subconscious mind, newly aligned with your desire, is guiding you in the right direction. At the same time, don't fall into the trap of constantly asking, "What should I do?" Trust that the right actions will become clear to you at the right time. Your job is to maintain the feeling of your desire fulfilled and to stay open and responsive to the opportunities that arise. Remember, the universe often works in mysterious ways. The path to your desire might not look the way you expect it to. Stay flexible and trust the process. As you embark on this journey of manifestation, it's important to be prepared for setbacks. There may be times when it seems like nothing is happening, or even that things are moving in the opposite direction of your desire. During these times, it's crucial to maintain your faith in the process. Remember, manifestation isn't always a straight line. Sometimes things need to fall apart before they can come together in a new, better way. If you encounter setbacks, resist the urge to give up on your imaginal scene. Instead, use these challenges as an opportunity to deepen your practice. When external circumstances aren't supporting your desire, that's when your imaginal scene becomes most powerful. In fact, Neville Goddard often spoke about the importance of persisting in your imaginal act even when your senses deny it. This is where real transformation happens. It's easy to believe in your desire when everything is going well. The real test and the real opportunity for growth comes when you can maintain your imaginal scene even in the face of contrary evidence. During challenging times, You might need to do your imaginal scene more than once a day. You might need to consciously choose moment by moment to live from the end rather than reacting to current circumstances. This isn't always easy, but it's where the real power of this technique lies. And remember, setbacks often contain valuable lessons or redirect us to even better outcomes than we initially imagined. Stay open to the possibility that what seems like a setback might actually be setting you up for something even better than what you originally desired. The step-by-step guide. Now that we've covered the basics and the theory behind Neville Goddard's technique, let's dive into the practical steps. This is where the rubber meets the road, where you'll learn exactly how to put this powerful method into practice. The first step is to decide what you want to manifest and create a short, vivid scene that represents your desire as already fulfilled. This scene should be no more than 30 seconds long when you play it out in your mind. It's important to choose a scene that implies your desire is already a reality, not one that shows you in the process of getting what you want. For example, if you want a new job, don't imagine yourself in a job interview. Instead, imagine yourself sitting at your new desk or shaking hands with your new colleagues on your first day. If you want to improve your health, don't imagine yourself working out. Instead, see yourself looking in the mirror and admiring your fit, healthy body. The key is to choose a scene that feels natural and believable to you. It should be something that could realistically happen if your desire were fulfilled. Don't worry about making it perfect or figuring out how it will happen. Your job is simply to create the end result in your imagination. Once you've chosen your scene, the next step is to relax. Find a comfortable place where you won't be disturbed for at least 3 minutes. You can sit in a chair or lie down in bed. The important thing is that you're comfortable and able to relax fully. Take a few deep breaths, letting go of any tension in your body with each exhale. You might want to do a quick body scan, consciously relaxing each part of your body from your toes to the top of your head. The more relaxed you are, the easier it will be to immerse yourself in your imaginal scene. As you relax, let go of any worries or thoughts about your day. This is your time to step into a different reality. If thoughts come up, don't fight them. Just gently bring your attention back to your breathing and your relaxed state. Now comes the most important part: entering your imaginal scene. Close your eyes and begin to imagine your chosen scene as vividly as possible. Use all your senses to make it feel real. What do you see? Look around in your imagination, taking in all the details. What do you hear? Are there any specific sounds associated with your fulfilled desire? What do you feel, both emotionally and physically? Maybe you feel the texture of new clothes or the warmth of the sun on your skin. Do you smell or taste anything in this scene? The more senses you can engage, the more real your scene will feel, and the more powerful it will be. Don't worry if you can't engage all 5 senses at first. Start with what comes easily to you, and you'll find that it becomes more vivid with practice. As you imagine your scene, the most important thing is to feel the emotions associated with having your desire fulfilled. Feel the joy, the relief, the excitement, the gratitude. Let these positive emotions fill your entire being. Repeat your short scene over and over for the full 3 minutes. Each time you repeat it, try to make it more vivid, more real. Feel as if you are actually there, experiencing it in the present moment. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. By fully immersing yourself in this scene, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious that this is your new reality. Let's walk through an example to see how this might work in practice. Say your desire is to own your dream home. Here's how you might apply the 3 steps. Your scene might be standing in the beautiful kitchen of your new home, feeling the smooth countertop under your hands, looking out the window at your lush backyard. You hear the sounds of your family happily chatting in the next room. You feel a sense of peace, contentment, and pride in your new home. You lie down in bed at night, take a few deep breaths, and relax your body from head to toe. You let go of any thoughts about your day, focusing only on your breath and the feeling of relaxation spreading through your body. You close your eyes and bring your kitchen scene to mind. You see the gleaming appliances, the beautiful cabinetry. You run your hands along the cool, smooth countertop. You hear the laughter of your family in the background. You smell coffee brewing in your new coffee maker. You feel a sense of deep contentment and gratitude. This is your home, your sanctuary. You repeat this scene, enhancing the details and the feeling of it being real for the full 3 minutes. Remember, the key is consistency. Do this every night, even if you don't feel like it or don't think it's working. The power lies in the repetition and in your ability to feel it as real. You might be wondering how simply imagining something for 3 minutes a day can have such a profound impact on your life. Well, it turns out there's some fascinating science that helps explain why this technique can be so effective. First, let's talk about the brain. When you vividly imagine something, your brain doesn't really distinguish between that imagined experience and a real one. This is why you might feel your heart race when watching a scary movie, even though you know it's not real. Your brain is responding as if the threat were real. Neuroscientists have found that when you imagine performing an action, you activate many of the same neural pathways as when you actually perform that action. This is why visualization techniques are so popular among athletes. When a basketball player imagines making the perfect shot, their brain is actually laying down neural pathways that make that perfect shot more likely in real life. The same principle applies to Neville Goddard's technique. When you vividly imagine your desire as fulfilled, you're creating and strengthening neural pathways associated with that reality. You're essentially training your brain to perceive and respond to the world as if your desire were already true. But it goes beyond just the brain. This technique also has a powerful effect on your nervous system and your hormones. When you imagine a positive scenario and really feel the associated emotions, your body responds by releasing feel-good hormones like dopamine and serotonin. These hormones not only make you feel good in the moment, but they also help to reduce stress and anxiety, boost your immune system, and even improve your cognitive function. Moreover, by regularly putting yourself in this positive emotional state, you're actually changing your baseline emotional state over time. This is due to a concept called neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural connections throughout your life. By consistently practicing this technique, you're literally rewiring your brain to be more positive, more confident, and more aligned with your desires. This shift in your emotional state and perception has a very real impact on your behavior and the opportunities you notice and take advantage of. When you feel more positive and confident, you're more likely to take actions that align with your goals. You're also more likely to notice opportunities that you might have missed before. There's also an interesting phenomenon known as the reticular activating system, RAS, at play here. The RAS is a network of neurons in your brain that acts as a filter for the millions of bits of information bombarding your senses at any given moment. It decides what information makes it to your conscious awareness based on what you've programmed as important. When you consistently focus on your desire through this technique, you're essentially programming your RAS to look for information and opportunities related to that desire. This is why, when you decide to buy a certain car, you suddenly start noticing that car everywhere. It's not that there are suddenly more of those cars on the road. Your RAS is just now filtering for that information. By using Neville Goddard's technique, you're harnessing these powerful neurological and psychological processes to align your mind, emotions, and perceptions with your desires. You're not just daydreaming, you're actively reshaping your neural pathways, your emotional state, and your perception of reality. And here's the really exciting part. As you change your internal state, you start to change how you interact with the world around you. You make different decisions, take different actions, notice different opportunities. And it's through these subtle shifts that your external reality begins to align with your internal vision. While Neville Goddard's technique is relatively simple, there are some common pitfalls that people often fall into when first starting out. By being aware of these, you can avoid them and get the most out of your practice. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to figure out how their desire will manifest. They spend their imaginal scene visualizing the process of getting what they want, rather than the end result. For example, if someone wants a promotion, they might imagine themselves asking their boss for a raise or working extra hours. The problem with this approach is that it keeps you in a state of wanting or lacking rather than a state of having. Remember, the whole point of this technique is to experience the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled. Focusing on the how often brings up doubts and anxieties, which work against your manifestation. Instead, focus solely on the end result. Imagine yourself already in the position you want, feeling the satisfaction and joy of having achieved your goal. Trust that the how will take care of itself. Another common mistake is going through the motions of the technique without really feeling it. Some people treat it like a mental exercise, creating detailed visual images but not engaging their emotions. Remember, the feeling is the secret, as Neville Goddard often said. It's not enough to just see your desire fulfilled in your mind's eye. You need to feel it with every fiber of your being. Feel the joy, the relief, the excitement, the gratitude you would feel if your desire were already a reality. If you're struggling to feel the emotion, try to recall a time when you felt similar emotions in the past. Maybe you achieved a different goal or received some good news. Tap into that feeling and bring it into your imaginal scene. Consistency is key with this technique. Many people start off enthusiastically, doing their imaginal scene every night for a week or two, but when they don't see immediate results, they get discouraged and stop. Remember, you're not just trying to influence external circumstances, you're rewiring your brain and shifting your entire perception of reality. This takes time and consistent practice. Neville Goddard often spoke about the importance of persisting in your imaginal act until it becomes your reality. Make your nightly session a non-negotiable part of your routine, like brushing your teeth. Do it every single night, regardless of whether you feel like it or whether you think it's working. The power lies in the repetition. It's natural to be excited about your manifestation and want to see results, but constantly checking to see if your desire has manifested yet can actually work against you. When you keep looking for evidence in your external world, you're reinforcing the feeling of lack or absence of your desire. Instead, trust in the process. Know that your imaginal scenes are doing their work even if you can't see the results yet. Your job is to persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not to figure out how or when it will manifest. While it's natural to want good things for the people we care about, trying to manifest specific outcomes for others can be problematic. Each person has their own free will and their own journey. Instead of trying to control outcomes for others, focus on manifesting a reality where you're in a position to help and support the people you care about in whatever way is best for them. While it's important to be clear about what you want, being too rigidly attached to a very specific outcome can sometimes limit you. The universe often has ways of fulfilling our desires that are even better than what we initially imagined. For example, if you're manifesting a romantic partner, don't focus too much on specific physical traits or circumstances. Instead, focus on the feeling of being in a loving, fulfilling relationship. This allows the universe to bring you the best possible match, which might look different from what you initially pictured. By avoiding these common mistakes, you'll be setting yourself up for success with Neville Goddard's technique. Remember, this is a practice, and like any practice, it takes time to master. Be patient with yourself, stay consistent, and trust in the process. Tips for success. Now that we've covered the basics and common mistakes to avoid, let's dive into some tips that can help you get the most out of Neville Goddard's technique. These strategies can enhance your practice and accelerate your results. While it's great to have big dreams, when you're first starting out with this technique, it can be helpful to begin with smaller, more believable desires. This allows you to build your confidence and faith in the process. Start with something relatively minor, like finding a great parking spot, having a positive interaction with a stranger, or receiving an unexpected small sum of money. As you see these smaller manifestations come to fruition, you'll build the confidence to tackle bigger desires. Remember, in the eyes of the universe, there's no difference between big and small manifestations. The process is the same. By starting small, you're simply making it easier for your logical mind to accept the possibility of manifestation. When creating your imaginal scene, try to engage all 5 senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel, both emotionally and physically? What do you smell? Can you taste anything? The more senses you engage, the more real your scene will feel to your subconscious mind. If you struggle with visualization, don't worry. Focus on the senses that come more naturally to you. Some people find it easier to focus on feelings or sounds rather than visual images. This is a powerful technique Neville Goddard often taught. Instead of just imagining your desire as fulfilled in the present, imagine yourself in the future, looking back on the fulfillment of your desire. For example, instead of just imagining yourself in your dream home, you might think, I remember when I was still looking for my perfect home. Now, I've been living here for months, and I love every moment. This I remember when technique helps to create a sense of distance between your current reality and your desire, making it feel more natural and believable. Cultivating a sense of gratitude can greatly enhance your manifestation practice. Each day, take a few moments to appreciate what you already have in your life. This puts you in a positive, abundant mindset, which aligns you more closely with your desires. Moreover, when you're grateful for what you have, you're less likely to approach your manifestations from a place of lack or desperation. Instead, you're coming from a place of abundance, which is much more powerful. One of the biggest blocks to successful manifestation is trying to figure out how your desire will come about. This often leads to doubt and anxiety, which can derail your efforts. Instead, focus solely on the end result. Trust that the universe will find the best way to bring your desire to fruition. Your job is simply to hold the vision and feeling of your desire fulfilled. Let the universe handle the details. To inspire you and boost your faith in this technique, let's look at some real-life success stories of people who have used Neville Goddard's method to manifest their desires. Sarah had been working in a job she disliked for years. She desperately wanted a career change, but didn't know how to make it happen. After learning about Neville Goddard's technique, she decided to give it a try. Every night for 3 months, Sarah imagined herself sitting at a desk in a beautiful office, feeling fulfilled and excited about her work. She imagined congratulatory emails from colleagues and the satisfaction of making a real difference in her field. At first, nothing seemed to change. But Sarah persisted. Then, out of the blue, a friend mentioned a job opening that seemed perfect for her. Sarah applied, went through the interview process, and landed the job. It was even better than the one she had imagined. John had been struggling with a chronic health condition for years. Doctors told him there was no cure, only management of symptoms. Frustrated, John turned to Neville Goddard's teachings. Every night, John imagined himself at a checkup with his doctor, hearing the words, "I can't explain it, but all your tests have come back normal. You're in perfect health." He felt the relief, the joy, the freedom of being completely healthy. For months, nothing changed, but John kept at it. Then, gradually, he started to feel better. His symptoms began to lessen. At his next checkup, his doctor was amazed at the improvement. Within a year, John was symptom-free, and his tests showed no sign of the condition. Maria had been estranged from her sister for years due to a family dispute. She missed her sister terribly and wanted to reconcile, but didn't know how to bridge the gap. Using Neville's technique, Maria imagined herself at a family gathering, laughing and talking with her sister like old times. She felt the warmth of their renewed connection, the joy of having her sister back in her life. For weeks, nothing happened. Then, out of the blue, Maria received a text from her sister, reaching out to reconnect. They met for coffee, cleared the air, and began rebuilding their relationship. Today, they're closer than ever. These stories illustrate the power of persisting in your imaginal act, even when external circumstances don't seem to be changing. Remember, manifestation often happens in ways we don't expect. Trust the process and keep faith in your vision. As we wrap up our exploration of Neville Goddard's 3-minute technique, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've discovered that the power to shape our reality lies within our own minds, specifically in our ability to vividly imagine and feel our desires as already fulfilled. We've walked through the step-by-step process of creating and immersing ourselves in our imaginal scenes. We've explored the science behind why this technique works, delving into the fascinating ways our brains respond to imagined experiences. We've also addressed common mistakes to avoid and shared tips for success, all aimed at helping you get the most out of this powerful practice. Remember, the key to success with this technique lies in consistency and feeling. It's not enough to simply visualize your desire. You must feel it as real, as already accomplished, and you must persist in this feeling night after night until it becomes your reality. As you embark on your own journey with this technique, be patient with yourself. Like any skill, this takes practice to master. Some days it might feel easy and natural, other days it might feel challenging. That's okay. What matters is that you keep showing up, keep doing your imaginal scene, keep feeling the reality of your desire fulfilled. And as you practice, stay open to the possibilities. Your manifestations might not always look exactly as you imagined. Often they turn out even better. Trust in the process and trust in your own inner power to shape your reality. Remember the words of Neville Goddard himself. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This simple yet profound instruction holds the key to unlocking the life of your dreams. Your imagination is the gateway to the reality you desire. Use it wisely, use it consistently, and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. So tonight, as you lie down to sleep, take those 3 minutes to step into the reality of your dreams. Feel it, live it, know it as true. And then carry that feeling with you into your waking life. Live from the end, as if your desire is already fulfilled. In doing so, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe, setting in motion forces beyond your comprehension to bring your desires into reality. You have within you the power to shape your world. Use this technique, persist in your imaginal act, and watch as the magic unfolds in your life. Your new reality awaits. It's time to step into it.